What's up, beautiful people on YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. If you're here back with another exciting German reaction. First one is titled Life in Germany. Germany is considered the country of the most beautiful blonde hair women in Europe, says according to this video. Let's go right into the video and find out what this is really about. While watching, do like, share, subscribe to my channel, and you can buy me a cup of coffee. Let us check this out.
Germany. You've heard the cliches: precision, order, punctuality, a land of engineers, rule books, and endless paperwork.
Exactly.
Efficient, yes, but also rigid, cold, maybe even robotic. But the truth? It's more layered, much more. Because when you look closely, you find a country that doesn't live to impress you. It
Yeah,
simply functions. It doesn't sell fantasy, it offers reliability. Every
exactly.
street, every schedule, every silence, they're telling you something.
Yeah.
This is a country that believes life should be dependable, that public systems should actually work, that people should trust their neighbors, their institutions, even their train timetables. And yet, Germany is not a machine. It's deeply human, just in its own way. It's in the smell of fresh bread from the corner bakery before sunrise. It's in the clink of glass as locals toast their beer, not
Wow.
to excess, but to routine. It's in the fact that a child can walk to school alone, because the system allows for it. This country doesn't chase your attention, it simply earns your respect. So forget what you've heard. Forget what you think you know. Because beneath the surface of structure and rules, life in Germany is anything but boring. It's
Wow.
calm, it's quiet, and for millions who live here, it just makes sense. In Germany,
And it is safe, very safe from what I've seen and heard so far.
time isn't just tracked, it's respected. A train arrives at 7:18 and leaves at 7:18, not a minute later, not even 30 seconds early. Because to
Wow.
be early is to be inconsiderate, to be late, unthinkable. This precision isn't just in the transport system, it's in how the day unfolds. Work begins on time.
The way that castle is just, standing alone in the forest. It actually looks so beautiful.
Meetings start on time, dinner is planned, shops close predictably, and bedtime isn't vague. It's part of the daily rhythm. But this isn't obsession. It's not perfectionism for its own sake. It's a cultural contract, an understanding that if everyone honors the schedule, life becomes smoother for everyone.
Yeah.
This devotion to punctuality is a reflection of something deeper: trust. Germans trust that buses will arrive, that systems will function, that rules, once set, will be followed. Not bent, not ignored, not gamed. And that trust liberates them. Because when you don't have to second guess whether things will work, you can focus on what really matters. In Germany, you don't waste time worrying. You use time intentionally. It's the quiet efficiency of a country that has decided chaos is not noble, structure is not oppression, and when life runs on time, you can actually enjoy the ride. Germany works, and it works hard. The country has one of the strongest economies in the world. Its cars, its tools, its technology, they power industries across continents. But here's the twist. Despite all that output, Germans actually work fewer hours than many of their global peers. Because in Germany, work is not about clocking in the most time. It's about doing the job right, then walking away. No constant overtime, no late night Slack messages, no bragging about 80-hour weeks. Instead, the workday begins early,
Wow,
is
this is
focused,
beautiful.
structured, and ends with intention. At 5 o'clock, offices empty out, shops close, streets quiet down. Because in Germany, when the work is done, you rest. Not as a reward, but as a responsibility. And on Sundays, the stillest day of the week, you'll hear something unfamiliar: silence. By law, shops are closed. No power tools, no loud lawnmowers. It's not inconvenience, it's culture, a collective
Wow.
pause, a reminder that life isn't only about.
One thing that surprises me is the fact that almost 90 to 95% of the population of the people living there, they adhere strictly to these rules and regulations. That it baffles me. Okay, not in some part of the world that you have people, you have stubborn people. They say don't play music after 10 o'clock. You see people playing music, shouting at the top of their voice. They don't even care about like the next door neighbor, whether you want to sleep or you don't want to sleep. You hear music and all sort of noise.
Output. It's about recovery. In Germany, they don't hustle 24/7. They don't glorify burnout. They understand a simple truth. To work well, you need time to live well. And that balance? It's not a luxury, it's the system itself. For all of Germany's strengths, the order, the punctuality, the systems that work, there is a quiet cost. Efficiency, by nature, leaves little room for improvisation. And in a society that prizes rules, flexibility sometimes struggles to breathe. Everything has a place, a time, a process. From renting an apartment to starting a business, from recycling waste to applying for childcare, there is a form to fill out, a line to wait in, a regulation to follow. Bureaucracy here is not a nuisance, it's a structure. And while that structure keeps society running, it can also feel heavy. Ask any newcomer about their first encounter with German paperwork, and you'll hear a sigh. Efficiency isn't always fast. Sometimes it means being precise to the point of paralysis. Even socially, spontaneity takes a backseat. People schedule dinners 2 weeks in advance. Neighbors are polite but distant, and while friendships here run deep, they are earned slowly, over time, not assumed overnight. This isn't coldness, it's not unfriendly, it's a kind of social discipline, a respect for boundaries, privacy, and predictability. But for those used to looser, more casual cultures, Germany can feel controlled. Safe, yes, but also sealed. And yet, for many who live here, the trade-off is clear. In exchange for spontaneity, you get stability. In exchange for chaos, you get clarity. In a world that often feels unpredictable, Germany offers a rare kind of peace, the peace of knowing what comes next. Responsibility in Germany is not just a legal expectation, it's a cultural reflex. It
Wow.
begins early, in schools, where children are taught not just math or grammar, but how to be good
Oh
citizens.
my
They
god.
learn to separate waste, to wait their turn, to speak softly in public spaces, and perhaps most importantly, to take ownership of their actions, whether someone's watching or not. Because in Germany, the invisible glue that holds society together is this simple idea: if everyone does their part, the system works for all.
Wow.
Litter is rare, not because there are more fines, but because people don't throw things on the ground. Recycling isn't trendy, it's normalized, with households dividing their waste into 4, sometimes 5, separate bins. If your dog makes a mess on the sidewalk, you clean it, instantly, without applause. Even jaywalking is frowned upon, not because of cameras, but because children might be watching. And if you own a home, it's expected, not requested, that you shovel snow from the sidewalk before 8 a.m. in winter. This isn't fear of rules, it's internalized order. A sense that
Wow.
you're not just living for yourself, but as part of a larger, interdependent whole. And when this responsibility is shared, when people trust that others are also doing the right thing,
Yeah.
something rare emerges: civic harmony. It's not perfect, but in a time when many societies struggle with fragmentation and mistrust.
Yeah.
Germany quietly offers a different model, not one of strict enforcement, but of shared responsibility. Because in the end, it's not just the laws that shape a nation, it's the mindset of its people. In Germany, nature is not something to escape to, it's something to live with.
Wow.
Even in the densest cities, green is never far. Parks aren't afterthoughts, they're centerpieces. From the sprawling English garden in Munich to the reclaimed airfields turned nature reserves in Berlin, the German landscape is proof of a quiet belief that urban life should never come at the expense of the natural world. Here, forests aren't feared, they're revered. Over 1/3 of the country is covered in trees, and the concept of Waldeinsamkeit, the feeling of solitude and peace found in the woods, is deeply embedded in the national psyche. But this connection to nature isn't romanticized, it's practical. On weekends, you'll see entire families, boots laced, backpacks packed, heading into the mountains or through village trails, not for Instagram, not for fitness, but because being outside is a form of restoration. There's even a word for it: Frischluft, fresh air. It's more than just clean oxygen, it's a way of life. Cities are designed with bike lanes and pedestrian zones.
Yeah.
Trains lead you straight to alpine villages, and nearly every child grows up with a connection to the outdoors, be it through hiking, camping, or simply walking through town with the seasons. In winter, the lakes freeze. In spring, wildflowers blanket the meadows. And in every season, Germans return to nature, not for spectacle, but for balance. Because here, nature isn't a luxury, it's a right, protected by law, maintained by custom, and honored by culture. In a fast-changing world of screens and skyscrapers, Germany quietly reminds us, to live well, you must also learn to be still, to breathe, to step outside, and simply be. In Germany, the image of women is not shaped by spectacle, but by substance. They are doctors, engineers, farmers, artists, mothers, and often many of these at once. The modern German woman is not defined by how she looks, but by how she lives, with autonomy, confidence, and a deep cultural expectation of equality. Gender roles here have evolved, slowly, thoughtfully, and while tradition still exists in rural corners, urban life in Berlin, Hamburg, or Cologne tells a different story. One where women lead boardrooms, anchor political parties, and build startups. One where parenting is increasingly shared, and where the state supports childcare, paid parental leave, and flexible working hours, not as extras, but as essentials. And in relationships, the tone is different too. Romance in Germany is rarely dramatic or flamboyant. There are fewer grand gestures, but perhaps more genuine ones. Respect runs deeper than charm. Reliability is often more attractive than spontaneity, because here, partnership means more than passion. It means consistency, mutual growth, and, above all, freedom. It's not uncommon to see couples living separately by choice, to delay marriage, to raise children as equals, not as roles. Some call it cold, others distant. But for many Germans, it's simply a mature way of loving, one that prioritizes self-respect, emotional clarity, and long-term trust over short-term intensity. And of course, beauty exists here, but it's not paraded, it's not commercialized, it's natural, often understated, the kind that walks past you in a bookstore or shares a quiet bench by the river, unapologetic, unconcerned with approval, and somehow all the more captivating for it. Because in Germany, the most attractive quality isn't how you appear, but how you live. Germany may not shout for your attention. It doesn't dazzle with spectacle, nor seduce with chaos. Instead, it offers something rare: order, balance, quiet confidence. Here, Life flows in rhythm, not rush. There's structure, but also space. Responsibility, but also rest. And beneath it all, a deep, unshakable belief in doing things the right way, even when no one's watching. It's not perfect. No place is. There are cracks in the system, tensions between old and new, questions about identity in a changing world. But perhaps that's what makes Germany real. Not a utopia, but a country still evolving, still asking hard questions, and still rooted in something solid. And when you walk its streets, when you breathe its forest air, when you hear the clock tower chime in a small town square, you may feel it, a different kind of freedom. Not one built on excess, but on enough. So if you've ever wondered what it's like to live in a country where rules create room for freedom, where silence speaks louder than noise, and where people choose discipline not as a burden, but as a
Germany.
way to respect each other, then perhaps Germany isn't just a place to visit. Maybe it's a way to rethink how we live. If this glimpse into everyday life in Germany moved you, if it challenged your assumptions, or if it simply made you curious to see more of the world through a different lens, then we invite you to go deeper. Subscribe for more thought-provoking journeys. Explore our other documentaries that uncover the untold sides of everyday life across the globe. And most importantly, stay curious, because the most interesting parts of this world are often the quietest.
Yeah.
Germany is changing, not loudly, not chaotically, but steadily,
Quietly.
irrevocably. Today, 1 in 4 people in Germany has a migration background. From Poland to Pakistan, Syria to
Turkey.
Senegal, new voices are joining the chorus that once sounded so singular. In some corners, this change is welcomed as renewal. In others, it's feared as loss, because when the familiar shifts, it often stirs anxiety. Questions emerge. What does it mean to be German? Can tradition and transformation live side by side? Can order survive diversity? The answers aren't easy. There are tensions, political, cultural, generational. There are missteps, debates, and difficult conversations. But also, progress. Germany is learning to hold 2 truths at once: that heritage matters, and so does openness. That identity is not fixed, it's grown. That a nation can honor its past without being trapped by it. From hip-hop lyrics and Turkish German slang to currywurst shops run by second-generation immigrants. From intercultural classrooms to synagogues rebuilt in old cities, this new Germany is not erasing its identity. It's expanding it. And it's doing so not in chaos, but in characteristically German fashion, with debate, with structure, and yes, even with a little bit of bureaucracy. Because the face of Germany may be changing, but the soul, that quiet strength, that insistence on doing better, on making things work, on taking responsibility for the future, remains deeply intact. Germany often sees itself through the lens of precision, order, and tradition. But the world sees Germany in many other ways. For travelers, it is the land of fairy tale castles and bustling
Yeah.
Christmas markets. For students, it is a gateway to opportunity, a place where knowledge and innovation meet. For immigrants and refugees, it is a new beginning, sometimes hopeful, sometimes challenging. Each foreign eye brings a different story. Some are captivated by Germany's rich history, its museums, and its festivals. Others are surprised by the friendliness beneath the reserve. Many admire the country's commitment to sustainability and green technology. Some struggle to understand the rules, the formality, the expectations. But over time, many come to appreciate the structure that underpins daily life. Yet, Germany is also a mirror, reflecting the hopes, frustrations, and dreams of those who arrive here. For newcomers, it is a test of patience and perseverance. For visitors, a chance to step into a different rhythm of life.
Yeah.
For residents, a challenge to balance tradition with change. Through foreign eyes, Germany is not just a place on the map. It becomes a mosaic of experiences, each one adding color and depth to the country's evolving identity. In the end, Germany's story is not written by a single voice, but by many, local and global, past and present, each perspective shaping what it means to be German today. If this gave you a new perspective on Germany, subscribe to the channel for more deep dive documentaries from around the world.
Wow. Wow. As much as he has said all these good things about Germany, I am sure that um there are still loopholes. Okay. Like there are still things that are not right. Like he presented Germany as a perfect country, and that is unbelievably true. I agree with him to some extent, though. Like most of the things he said, they are true. But as much as a country is that good, to me, like there should be bad sides, and I'm sure there are. I am sure there are. I think I saw a video recently, and the guy was lamenting about the tax rates. Like you literally pay tax for everything. Even you paid, I don't know, but I think he said something about paying tax for your dog, your pets. Okay, so the way he sounded, like everything was so perfect, like including the train station. So you want to tell me that for 365 days in a year, there's no day that a train comes late or leaves late? That sounds so perfect to me. But I don't know. I don't believe that like everything is just so good, so well placed and that. Well, that was quite a beautiful description of Germany. Let me not make the video longer than it already is. Do like, share, subscribe to my channel, turn on your post notifications for more videos like this. And yeah, see you at my next one. Do have a lovely day. Bye.